God consciousness, technological overlay, and the integrity of the inner signal. A precautionary note on permanent neural interfaces. There is a growing convergence between two frontiers of human experience: the exploration of inner awareness, states of stillness, coherence, and deep insight, the development of external cognitive technologies, interfaces designed to enhance, accelerate, or directly integrate with the mind. Individually, each holds transformative potential. Together, they introduce a question that has not yet been fully examined: what happens when the architecture of human awareness is no longer solely shaped from within, but is persistently coupled to an external programmable system? The threshold of persistence. Most technologies influence the mind indirectly through behavior, attention, and habit. Even when their effects are profound, they remain interruptible. One can step away, unplug, or disengage. A brain computer interface such as Neuralink introduces a different category. It is embedded, not external. It is potentially continuous, not occasional. It may become difficult to fully disengage from, depending on its design and integration. This marks a shift from influence to integration. If widely adopted, such systems could represent the first persistent internal interface between human cognition and externally controlled infrastructure. The unresolved question of the inner signal. Across contemplative traditions and increasingly with cognitive science, there is recognition that human awareness is capable of states marked by heightened clarity, non fragmented perception, spontaneous insight. Whether interpreted spiritually or scientifically, these states depend on a key condition: the ability to distinguish what arises from within one's own cognitive processes. A persistent neural interface complicates this condition. If information, suggestions, or computations are introduced directly into neural activity, the boundary between self generated thought and externally mediated input may become increasingly difficult to discern. This is not a speculative metaphysical issue, it is a practical cognitive concern. Signal integrity and cognitive attribution. Human cognition already operates through prediction, pattern recognition, susceptibility to framing, and suggestion. A direct interface could amplify these traits by reducing the delay between input and awareness, increasing the volume and speed of information, embedding outputs in a way that feels internally generated. The result is a potential shift in cognitive attribution, not necessarily a loss of agency, but a blurring of authorship. Over time, individuals may find it harder to answer a fundamental question: did this thought originate from me? Plausible risks: cognitive dependence. Reliance on external augmentation may reduce internal capacities for deep focus, independent reasoning, tolerance for ambiguity and stillness. Identity drift: as cognition becomes partially externalized, the sense of self authorship may weaken. Thought may feel increasingly hybridized. Persistent mediation: unlike traditional tools, an embedded interface may continuously shape perception, introduce subtle bias through design or updates, be difficult to fully separate from lived experience. The unknown variable: beyond measurable risks lies an open question, one that cannot yet be resolved. Are there dimensions of human awareness not fully understood that depend on an unmediated cognitive field? If such dimensions exist, whether framed as intuition, deep cognition, or something not yet defined, then permanently layering an artificial interface onto that system could have effects that are subtle, irreversible, not immediately detectable. The absence of current evidence is not evidence of absence. It simply reflects the limits of present understanding. A reasonable precaution. Given this uncertainty, a cautious approach is warranted. Before adopting any permanent neural interface, individuals may wish to consider the value of maintaining periods of unaugmented cognition, the importance of preserving clear authorship of thought, the possibility that some aspects of awareness function best without continuous external mediation. This is not an argument against innovation, it is an argument for discernment proportional to impact. Final reflection. Humanity stands at a point where the boundary between mind and machine may become increasingly permeable. The central question is not whether such integration is possible, it is what should remain untouched. Because if there is any aspect of human experience that depends on clarity, it is this: the ability of awareness to recognize itself without interference, without confusion, and without substitution. Until that boundary is fully understood, it may be wise to approach any permanent modification to cognition not with fear, but with deliberate restraint.